All right, hey everybody, welcome to Mahoney Matters Interviews. I'm Chris. I'm the editor of Mahoney Matters. We talk to people in the area and people come in the area to entertain us, and we definitely have an entertainer today. Man, I've listened to Jackyl since I was in high school. 33 years since the band
Uh,
first started, and they are coming to Warren tonight to Robbins Theater for a big concert. We got Jeff Worley, guitarist of Jackyl, with us. Jeff, how's it going?
Good, man. Early in the morning, we played last night, so those are late nights and long drive. But I'm good every morning, brother. Good to see you,
How are you guys doing this? It's 10 a.m. Usually rockers don't get up till noon or 1. This has got to
uh,
be really early for you.
dude. Usually with me, well, now
Okay.
some of us are still in bed,
Okay.
but me, but my brother, the drummer Chris, we're perpetually early getter uppers. We're not your regular thing. I get up, and by the time most people in bands even think about getting up, I've done 4 miles. Wherever the bus lands, I get off 4 miles. Then I'll come back, play guitar, get ready for the day. Then we go work out.
Oh,
Then we
wow.
come back and have dinner. Yeah, it's a thing, man. Especially getting 30 something years on the road. Um, like you said, we've been 30 years. We got to realize it did. That's when the record came out. We had been kicking it since we were kids, and we were kids when the record came out too. But we I drew the logo for John grade, so that kind of
Okay.
gives you how long it went back. We started, as soon as I knew what I wanted to do. Me and my brother, I was off to the races. I had the concept of the band before I could play a note. That
Okay.
tells you.
Wow. All right. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
had this concept, and then I learned to play later.
Wow. Okay. What's it like doing it for 30 years? I mean, like you said, it's been a long time, everything. I know this has been like a lifelong thing for you. I mean, you were, doing this even in school and everything. Did you ever think that, 2024, you'd still be doing your thing or?
Oh God. Well, you have to realize. Did anybody think any band past the 70s or 80s would keep going?
Yeah.
It's new to the world. How do you know? Before that, it was, you had Beethoven, you had Mozart, you had the classical guys, but until the rock and roll thing came around, nobody thought about how long can these people keep doing this. It's an age thing. It's more, these people don't retire for that. They retire because your body gives up. So to answer your question, I love it more than ever. The 2 hours on stage is great. The getting there is the problem.
Yeah. I can
Okay.
imagine that.
Now, when we're on our bus, we're loaded. Our bus stays. We put our stuff on it. It sometimes never comes off. I leave my dirty laundry. Bus driver does it, or we take it. But the flying, it just gets because as a matter of fact, this weekend we just did two shows. That one was in Milwaukee on Sunday night. Then Monday at 6 o'clock in the evening, we had to play the New York State Fair in Syracuse.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we had logistically, we had to take gear with us along with a company that brings gear for the Milwaukee show. But our real stuff, our personal real stuff we use every night went to Syracuse. So it's the travel thing, and getting it coordinated. But for the band, it to get to where I do, we had a 36-hour day basically. I'd gotten up Sunday morning and didn't go to sleep to Saturday morning and didn't go to sleep till Monday night.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Well, and I would imagine that would make working out so much important then, right? Because you have to have
I
that
have.
to kind of keep going, right?
Well, not only that, I work out and exert physical because it's just it's great for stress. Number one,
Hmm.
I won't do near as many years in jail by doing a good hour workout than I would killing somebody. I tell my
Yeah.
wife that all the time. Um, but yes, you have to, and we've done it our whole lives. That is the working out thing is kind of like you. How do we deal with this kind of life, dude? I don't really know anything different. It'd be
Yeah.
it. When I go home, and it's worked ourselves to a perfect balance. Now we'll do a week or two on the road, go home for a week or so. It's perfect balance. It it works itself out. We just,
Yeah.
I try not to think about it too much because I wouldn't be able to function if I didn't have those 2 hours on stage. That's what it's all about for me. And making music, and not only making it, performing it live.
Yeah.
See, that's what's missing now is anybody can push it, and I ain't got a damn thing against it.
Mm-hmm.
Push computer, and play the tracks and stuff. I get it. It's a new art form. It's no different than a DJ. Whoever thought you'd pay 1 cent to see somebody play tunes to a light rig? Right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So, but what we do and what I do is, and there was some kids last night at the show that brought it up, it's turning around. Now they're understanding what it's like to plug into a real amp and turn it to 10 and go. That's an art form in itself beyond compare. And that's very rare these days.
Yeah, definitely. Your debut album was the album that, like, a lot of people got to know you guys, and I'm looking at this, and I'm getting old where I don't remember everything, but I'm looking at the singles, and man, a lot of the singles really still stick out, from like the Lumberjack, I Stand Alone, Down on Me, Dirty Little Mind, When Will It Rain. It seemed like you had just so many hits, boom, 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 off the debut album. Did that surprise you guys at all? I mean, it probably was like the best hope that you had, right? Because sometimes, like, when you do a new album, especially as a newer band, you're like, hey, hopefully 1 or 2 of these songs do well. But man, you had like hit after hit on that first album. That had to be like a best case scenario for you guys.
Well, it was surprising to everybody, including the record company. But
yeah,
the thing about that is, and I want to explain and give it a little bit of 2 things. We get people all the time right into Facebook, and I see it with other bands, about switching up. Why don't you switch up the set list? Why don't you do this? Okay, first off, look at it from our point of view. You just pointed it out. There's about, we have to play, and if I count it right, at least 6 or 7 songs off that first record. If we don't play it, people throw shit at us. Okay? So we stuck in that thing. 7 songs is about 45 minutes. With a show like ours, right?
Yeah.
So we try to spread and we change stuff out. But yes, what happened with that record is, and what people don't realize, and that, and I have a book on Amazon called No Filter, and it's just a bunch of stories. In 2025, you can look under Jackyl, Jeff Worley, and I'll have a new book that explains our career a little more, how me and my brother got to where we met Jesse, and then everything took off. But the Lumberjack song, okay?
Yeah.
People don't realize I Stand Alone was the first single, and it was okay. And we never, when we got signed by the great John Colodner of Geffen Records, the guy that you see in the Aerosmith videos, he brought Aerosmith with the long beard. You see him, Sammy Hagar. He's the judge, and I Can't Drive 55.
Oh, okay.
That's John Colodner, one of the greatest ever. When he signed us, and we went to Los Angeles, the Chainsaw song the Lumberjack didn't have a title or lyrics. Jesse just did it on stage as a gag, and would cut into these bar stages, and people would raise hell. And we did it every night. When we got to Los Angeles to do the record, and we had all those singles down, he came in and said, "Where's the Chainsaw song?" And we was like, "What? We ain't gonna record it. We're not gonna record that, are we?" And yes. So Jesse wrote the lyrics, and I'm guessing 5 minutes. And that was born.
Wow.
So we put it at the end of the record like a gag. We never was going to go, look at us. We have that was never the thing. It was a gag. People's got to get in on this joke 30 years later, right?
Yeah.
But then, out of nowhere, we started running out of records, and it started moving up the charts because of one DJ, if I remember correctly, in like Portland, Oregon, or Anchorage, Alaska, all over Canada, all in the Northwest. Because Lumberjacks and men they were hearing it. He played it. They heard that song, started tripping the hell out, started buying records, and then it spread to all of a sudden that was the thing. And it was a two-edged sword, because I've seen people over the years, they're selling out. I seen a guy one time who contacted me because I was not doing the guitar justice, because I let Jesse play the solo with the chainsaw. Give me a break. I will take that every day to sell millions of records off one record because of a guy. Who cares? It may, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you connected with your audience. You know, it was good. Yeah, Jeff, a little bit of a tech issue. Jeff ran out. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. And here he is. Hey, Jeff. Sorry about the tech issue there.
That's
Um,
okay, dude. Like I said,
yeah.
we're on the road and
Oh,
moving.
yeah. No.
I'm in the back of the bus now.
Yeah. No, definitely understandable. So, yeah. Well, I was going to say with the lumberjack. I mean, hey, it may have been the gimmick. It may have been the throwaway song, but connecting with your audience—that's important, man. If that did it, go for it. You know.
You know, we actually used the chainsaw on a couple of more songs. There was one called, and people still want us to play it. It was on the second record. Golly, and the um,
Push comes to shove, right?
trying to remember, and we had a song called "Cut." Yeah, it was on the second record. It was called not Dixieland, but there was a song on there that had chainsaw. Then we had the record "Cut the Crap." The song "Cut the Crap" had the chainsaw.
Yeah.
But we just play the
Okay.
lumberjack. We've played them both. And there's some funny stuff happened with that. When we did Cut the Crap, Jesse actually had a chainsaw guitar made.
Oh wow.
And that was a contraption. Yeah, the first night he tried to use it when he went to saw with the saw because it's a real saw blade. Because at the end of the
Okay.
back on stage at night, he cuts through. It's a real saw. People don't realize it. You know, it's a real chain. And the first night he used the guitar chainsaw thing, and you can get on Google or then you get pictures of him holding that thing.
Oh yeah.
The violence of the chainsaw on the bottom. Imagine Jimmy Page's two-neck guitar. Top was guitar, bottom was chainsaw. But the violence of revving that thing made the guitar strings out of tune. You couldn't keep it or some kind of thing. But anyway, yeah. So it's definitely a gimmick, but it wasn't a gimmick we thought up. It just happened. And that song cost us a lot of money too, because when we recorded it in Los Angeles, when the record company wanted us to record it, our producer Brendan O'Brien said, "Okay, every night after we work on the good stuff, like the singles you were talking about, all the songs, we'll do the chainsaw last and go home every night." So we tried it, and it didn't really work that well. We couldn't just get the vibe we wanted, so we sent out for bales of hay and some live chickens. Now, the studio we were in belonged to the legendary Captain and Tennille. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Do you know the Captain and Tennille from the 70s? Well, Tony, her and the Captain, they own the studio. So, and another thing, when you're in Los Angeles, trying to find chickens that are still alive and bales of hay is hard. So our buddy from the record company went to Bakersfield, which is a farming community about 200 or 300 miles from L.A. Came back and he couldn't find all chickens. He had 2 roosters. And are you familiar with what a guinea hen is?
A little bit. I've heard the name.
It looks like a miniature emu. It looks like something out of prehistoric times. So he comes back with about 4 of them. And nobody knows in that studio are losing their mind. And what we did, but after 4 takes, we had it. So if you go back to the record and listen, and don't stop listening when the song ends, you'll hear the Jesse shoo the chickens. Now, that worked out perfectly. But we didn't calculate one thing. That chickens crap a lot.
Yes.
So we had chickens crapping in $1 million piano, the same piano that Axl Rose played November Rain in. We had chickens crapping in it. Oh, dude, it was hilarious. And when we left the studio, we couldn't find all of them. So we told them we found them. One of the emus or whatever it was, a guinea hen, had crawled up in the rafters and was hidden. We heard 6 months later it comes swooping out to somebody on the damn that was doing a session, and like, what the hell is this? And we're like, Jackyl was here, but that's the full story of the lumberjack, and then it just it took off from there across the United States, and it launched our career. So you know, if that song hadn't have been on there, and this is just my personal opinion, and I was there, if that song hadn't have been on the record and did what it did, they would have probably dropped us because
Really?
that,
Oh.
oh yeah, if you, dude, it wasn't the 70s and early 80s. Once the 90s
Yeah.
came, and you got to remember, we sold millions of records during grunge when nobody could
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
So,
No.
but it all worked out, and it just brought awareness, and we play it every night
Yeah,
to this
definitely.
day, and we'll play it tonight.
Oh, good. Good. Looking forward to it. One of the things that always strikes me about you guys, you have such a distinctive sound with the southern rock and the hair metal, and Jesse's voice is so distinctive. How do you guys keep that up? Because that, like for me, if I have voice like that in my 20s, maybe as time comes, you get older, you lose that a little bit. How do you guys keep that sound up, especially with Jesse's voice?
Well, first off, Jesse Dupree's made out of gristle. You know the stuff you pull out of meat that you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
chew. No, Jesse, man, that dude, he's an anomaly. Well, you know
Hmm.
he's not, because let me tell you, he's like Brian Johnson. He's
Yeah.
like all these other older guys that they're, you got. Let me put it this way: when
Okay.
we first got together, me and my brother had the band, and we were looking for the perfect lead singer. We saw Jesse. That's the guy. When we asked him to join, he told me, "I'll join under one condition: you have to turn up to 10." Now, what singers tell the damn guitar player to turn up
Yeah.
wide eyes open? And I said, "You got it, brother." And it's
Yeah.
30 something years ago. But no, dude, his secret weapon is if his voice goes out. He's got a couple. Is he gets the greasiest Taco Bell taco, just no cheese.
Really?
He don't he
Okay.
don't do any dairy because it clogs your throat. So you have to make a commitment. He made a commitment of a life with no dairy because it
Okay.
just clogs up his voice. And then that grease, if he's having a bad day, he'll get a cheap taco. That grease lubes it,
Really? Wow.
and that's about it. And 30 something years, we've never canceled a show because of his voice.
Wow.
There's been some rocky nights where we said, "Dude, he was sick one night and couldn't hardly talk." And me and my brother said, "Man, if you want to call this thing," and I thought I was going to have to fight him.
Obviously, wanted to play. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was calling him a name, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes.
What are you trying to say to me? I can't do this. That's the kind of, it's an attitude more than anything. And I tell my son's got a band, and I say,
Okay.
"Guys, you got to be hardcore to do this. Can't
Yeah.
call shows, play every night, and plus you got." Man, it don't exist anymore. That literally before we got signed, we had played 2 years of 6, 7 nights a week, 3 sets a night. That really don't exist anymore for young bands. There's not that many venues. Everything's different now. And I
Hmm.
mean, we'd go into a club and set up on Monday night and play to Saturday night, or sometimes Sunday, 3 sets a night. So we were able to suck for a long time, but you get to learn how you do your craft, which leads us 30 years later. You got to be able to do it for the music. And what you're saying about the sound, here's what I also tell my son and my daughter and every young musician: you got to be yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, one of me and my brother's greatest things in a world of talking about different kind of privileges was the privilege me and my brother had was we grew up in the country before anything than any sort of social network or anything. So by the time we hit the music scene, we didn't have any outside influences. We
Mm.
was able to cultivate our own thing. Now we had records, and we had an uncle that was a Vietnam veteran that came back and was basically our babysitter. So we were kind of raised by Cheech and Chong, if you can imagine that.
Yeah. I can.
But an old military guy that listened to metal and music. So I came up through not just listening to hard rock. I was a metal punk kid in the late 70s through the 80s. Metal more than anything. The hair thing we never understood that. We're not hair metal. I had hair. Okay, that's it. I have hair,
Wow.
but our sound was, so we decided, you know what, real early, let's just do what we do. And if God means for it to happen and the powers that be, we're going to be honest about it. And if we do it, we do, and we don't, we don't. And because of that, we've had great success. And we've had a lot of stuff that we should have had more success on, but we decided to stay true to our own thing. And I believe truly that's the only way you can do it. I mean, it's okay to take influence, but you have to stay true to just, you got to take that, let it go. And when you make your music, when you make your art, for instance, you can go on the Worley the Pirate, my last name, the Pirate. Google that, and I have my Worley the Pirate art sign. I paint. I'm a painter. Now I play guitar for money. I paint because I'm not that great, but I know that if it takes off, and I've sold a few paintings, it's my uniqueness because it's what comes out. You got to allow what to come out. Okay, you do. Yes, you have to follow some rules in the world. You have to have a song with a great chorus. Let's just talk about a great chorus. But other than that, you just have to let it flow and be yourself. And if it takes, it takes. If it don't, it don't. And that's all there is. You know, it's that simple, kind of.
Well, fantastic. I was going to say, man, the Taco Bell story is amazing. You could be a spokesman for Taco Bell. Have Jesse, you know, hey, if my throat's going low, you know, give me a greasy no cheese Taco Bell.
Yeah, you know, he
the day.
A funny story. A few days after we got our record deal, we were so excited, and we had this whole van. And if you go to the YouTube and look up "I Stand Alone" video, you will see us. Now wait a minute. Yes, it's "I Stand Alone." You will see us blow up an old orange van. That was our van.
Okay.
So when we got a record deal and was going to be able to get in a bus, we blew that thing up with dynamite, right, in a video. So you see it.
Yeah.
But Jesse backed that thing at Myrtle Beach. We were playing, and right after we got signed, we got signed to one of the last big record deals that Geffen gave. Okay. Nirvana got signed a little bit before us, maybe a week or two. They were on their record. And then we came in, and Kalodner signed us out of nowhere. You know, we had drove to Los Angeles and lived in South Central.
Wow. Okay.
Eight white Southern boys, and had the best time ever. But we had no problems. And then we couldn't get the record. You could see record companies from the venues we were playing on Sunset Strip. Couldn't get nobody to come and see us. Lived on $5 a day. We finally said, all right, let's go. We had to go back home. We drove across. We had enough to get enough gas to get back home. I'm talking from Los Angeles to Atlanta. And we came back, and 3 days or 4 days later, flew from Los Angeles to see us play in Atlanta and signed us that night after all of that crap, right? But then he told us we signed in with he saw us on a Saturday night. He signed us on a Sunday morning with a letter of intent, like they do football players. Like you don't sign with anybody else, right? And then we wasn't anyway because we wanted him to sign us anyway. That was a godsend. We loved him. We loved what he did with Aerosmith. We knew he would get us being a new band that just does what we do once again. And so we did that. But then there was a caveat to the signing. We had to keep doing what we were doing for 6 months, waiting on our producer, Brendan O'Brien. What do you mean doing what we're doing? You're going to play 3 sets a night, the same shit you've been doing every night till you get there. This ain't no party. There's no party having here. There's no birthday party for me in here. Okay? That was what it was. And we had to go do it and couldn't tell nobody. So we'd be playing these gigs, and these guys would come up. Man, one day, if y'all get as good as we are, you might get a record deal. And I just want to strangle them. Dude, I've had a record deal for 3 months with a lot of figures on it, but I'm just waiting to get there.
Yeah.
But all of that mattered, you know, and advice also, on top of what I told you with young bands, is play every night. You're going to play for no money. You're going to play to no people. It's the repetition of the gig. You learn a hell of a lot more playing to nobody than you do playing to somebody. I'm never nervous. I played Woodstock. 500,000, 300,000 more people. And then bigger tours in Europe. And then we did a tour with ZZ Top in the late 90s called the Antenna Tour. And it was multiple nights in the biggest buildings. Those crowds are easy. That people don't realize. People think that don't do it, you'd be nervous. No. You're nervous when you're in a building that ain't but one guy down front. That's me.
Yeah.
It's like, I have no idea why. But the more people, the less nervous I am. And, you know, it's because you're standing there. I'm not like Jesse. That's why, you know, I do understand lead singers. You've heard lead singer syndrome, LSD.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, he suffers from the hell out of it. But that
Yeah.
being said, it is a tough job because you're basically out there just yourself. At least I have a guitar to hide behind.
Yeah.
You know, and my brother has the drums, and Roman has the bass, and Jesse's just standing there. And but those gigs over the years, and what you'll see tonight is years of cultivating that. It's not just people go, oh, you make it look easy. We make it look easy because we've done it forever.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah, well, definitely. And let me make sure people understand how to see you guys. So again, we're recording this on Friday. There's a
okay.
concert tonight at Robbins Theater in Warren. I will tell you too, if you listen to this and say, "Hey, man, Friday night, I'm not able to go," they're also going to be in Ohio on Saturday at the
Mm-hmm.
Marion Popcorn Festival too.
Of all things.
Yeah, which isn't that far away. So if you can't make them in Warren tonight, go check them out. It's a free show Saturday night too, so you can check them out and I guess have some popcorn too. Are you guys looking forward to the popcorn?
Dude, well, I tell you what, I don't know about the popcorn. I play gigs. Look, it's a great gig. It's
Oh
got
yeah,
a funny name, but
yeah.
people, but we just played the gigs. I get excited about is one we played. Oh, I'm excited about every gig. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, of
It's
course.
a
Yeah.
gift to me. It's a gift from God to be able to stand on stage every night when the intro plays. Not since I was 16 years old. As soon as the intro plays or whatever gig I played, I just look up the sky and say, God, thank you for one more night to be able to do
Yeah.
this. Right.
Amen. Yeah.
But now that being said, we just played the Rib Fest in
Mm-hmm.
somewhere a few weeks back. There's where I get in trouble because I like barbecue.
Right.
And
Well,
I
and if
can't
you're
eat
playing,
it before the show. All right. So I have to sit there
okay.
all day and let's smell this waif of all these famous barbecuers and thousands of people. So I play the show in double time so I can get back in. Because if I eat barbecue before I play, you'll see it again. It don't work that way for me.
Well, and you guys are probably cursing the crowd if they're yelling for encore, but you're like, I want that barbecue ribs. Come on. I'm not going to do 4 or 5 extra songs. Give me at the ribs.
Dude, I don't really do pork, but I eat my
Okay.
weight in brisket. I can eat my weight in brisket.
Awesome. So if people don't know, I mean, obviously, again, this is the band in my high school, so I'm very familiar with Jackyl. What's a Jackyl concert like? If someone's out there like, man, I just want to see a concert tonight, let me check out Jackyl. If they haven't heard of you guys, what can they expect to see at a Jackyl show?
Well, I can tell you what you're not going to see.
Okay.
We're not going to save the whales.
Okay.
We're not going to preach.
Okay.
This is a guy tried to. I read years ago. I think it was right after our record sold about 4 million copies. A guy came out, a critic, and said that we were nothing more than a glorified backyard party band.
Okay.
I thought, finally, somebody that gets it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
And that's what we are, the glorified. I mean, we're just, dude, we go out and we have a good time. We're serious about not being serious, if that makes sense. We take our gigs seriously, and you'll get your face knocked off. I don't know anybody that's louder or does anything like we do. We're fully live. There's no computers. It's just a full live onslaught of, we're half heavy metal and half southern rock with a part of a little country thrown in, and it's all natural, and it's just what we. No matter what, you'll leave having a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll
Sounds
say
good.
I had a good time, and you'll leave wore out. That's the pride of our show. I've seen people leave the show more wore out than we are. So that to me is a good gig.
Well, you're very much an exercise. You're giving them the exercise at the concert. That's great. You guys have done a lot of great stuff over the years. Any plans on recording new stuff, or are you guys still, kind of doing a lot of the old stuff that people love?
We're always looking to the future. Now, I'll say this first. Me and my brother just put out our first solo record outside of Jackyl. It's called Worley the Pirate. You can find it on all sites. It's not like Jackyl.
Okay.
Jackyl's Jackyl. This is me and my brother being something else.
Okay.
So it has horns on it. It has sax. It has pianos. I have 4 lead singers on it. My daughter, my 18-year-old daughter, being one, Emma, in the world, get ready to hear from her. She's really talented, like her dad. Every night when I
Okay.
see her, she sings. I just want to kill her. She's so talented. I was like, where did you got? Where did you? How did you get it? And I didn't. Um, she's one that, like you say, touched by God. It just can feel it and hear it. And it'd take me 100 years to learn to do what she can do
Okay.
now. But I have her on there, and I have there's a couple of rap songs on there. My wife's little brother is a rapper producer from New York. Now he's in Atlanta. He's on there, so it's an amalgamation. Go check that out.
Okay. Yeah.
But as far as Jackyl, absolutely. But you got to understand, music is free now. No matter
Mhm.
who you are, you can try to keep a record quiet. The biggest act in the world can keep a record quiet. Taylor Swift can keep a record quiet, and she'll have a certain amount of downloads because of her fan base. But the
Mhm.
next day, it's going to be on YouTube. Period. The whole record. There you go.
Yeah.
End of story. So now, to make a living, if you want to do this, you got to get out and play. I've
Mhm.
kind of worked this out that technology's made it where you can make a record in your bedroom,
Mhm.
right? But if you want to make money, you got to get your butt out and play. So,
Yeah.
period. So we've went back in time and forward in time. You can
Mhm.
do what you want to do now. Just you don't have to have no musicians. You ain't got to go through all the work, but you got to still get out and play to make any money. You ain't gonna do nothing. You just put it out there and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
So
I've
that's why
thought.
I was gonna say that's why you see all these older bands coming out because there is a market for it. And there's money to be made. You got Toto, you got Journey, you got all these bands out there because there's a market definitely for it. But that's, and unless you do a syncing with a movie or a TV show, your record. But that being said, we always have ideas. We put something out, a couple of songs about it 2 years ago, and we played one of those live. But yes, every day we think about it, but we're also trying to think about a different way to do it. And who knows?
Yeah.
Um, it's just a different time with the music being free. It's a little bit of a chore for us and for any artist if you take it seriously, no matter how simple you may be. If you call ACDC simple as compared to, you know, somebody that Yngwie Malmsteen or somebody that plays a lot of stuff, if that's kind of a simple, it's still very hard to do that. And it's a process. It's like, we like to call it having a baby.
Yeah.
And to have a baby, then you immediately just give it away because that's what it is. So we're thinking about it, and we like now we don't have to really worry about it, but we do. You know, a lot of bands, even the big bands, are just like Motley Crue, just put out one song,
Yeah.
and that's just because everybody's under the same constraint. We're kind of all even now. If you're not Taylor Swift or one of the big top tier playing stadium 70,000 people bands, every one of us is on the same tier. You put it out, you go out and tour. You got your own record company because you can just throw stuff on YouTube. I mean, it's just a
What
different time.
I was going to say, you've got to have a mix because I went to see a metal band I liked as a kid recently, and I looked at their set list. I was covering the concert. 8 of their 10 songs were an album they put out the day before. And again, I appreciate them as musicians. I appreciate the new stuff, but I wasn't raised on the album that came out a day ago. I was raised on the album that came out 30 years ago. So yeah, I think you have to have that mix. You need to do the new music when it hits you, but if you do all the new music, you disappoint some of the old fans, I'm sure.
Well, the problem is when you go on Facebook the next morning, no matter who you are,
Yeah,
you're going to have this. You played too much new stuff. You played too much
yeah,
old stuff. Here's
yeah.
what we say, and I don't want to use profanities, but F it. We don't
Yeah,
care.
right.
And you're talking about the first record. Here's how much we don't care. We have to play those certain songs on the first record. Then that's why we don't even have a set list. We've never used a set list.
Oh wow. Okay.
We have built our set, and then if there's something that we've rehearsed, we don't really rehearse either. And here's another thing about Jackyl. We hadn't sound checked in 20 years.
Really? Wow.
Nope, I don't want to see that damn guitar until 9 o'clock. And I'll walk straight into it and go. That's those many years of playing 3 sets, 4 sets a night, 6 nights a week. Because I don't want to use up any of my energy till I take it to the crowd. About watching
Yeah.
her warming up in sound checks. And sound check for us, and I do have a sense of humor, you'll learn that, but I mean it, is it puts out a false sense of security that you've tested it and it'll work. It no any sound check I did my entire life, it sounded great. When I went on stage, it sounded like crap. So I decided I ain't doing
I
it
can
anymore.
imagine that.
If I'm gonna sound like crap, I'm gonna do it for while I'm getting paid.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
true.
but no, we're just a weird band, and nobody can be like us. Well, here's how it is. Here's my sound check. Jesse will go in sometimes and do the mic because to hear the monitors, you know. But Jesse, our singer, has done my microphone our entire career. I don't sound check my microphone. He does it for me because him and my brother are anal about sounds.
Yeah.
And they know how to holler out frequencies.
Wow.
They can go check and then scream over to the monitor man, 4.9 takeout. And me and Roman, the bass player, we have the easiest job because Jesse and Chris will take care of that crap. We'll just go on stage and play. So we have a funky. We've been together forever. We're just family, and we've done it so long, you know. And like with the set list, if they something. Some nights Jesse will scream out something and we'll look at each other like, well, how in the hell are we supposed to play that?
Yeah.
We ain't played. And then you'll just, in that moment, it comes back to you. And
that's really cool.
That's how we like to do it. We don't want to know it's coming. And then sometimes it's a train wreck. But
train wrecks are fun sometimes. You know what I mean?
You know, Dave Grohl said it best. Dave Grohl, you know, he's one of the champions of, look, sometimes that bad note is the note. You know, I've definitely made bad notes on records where it was like, man, that sounds cool. I was like, well, that's the thing that just comes out of the cosmic with live. Computer won't do that. You know, you can't get that note with a computer because it's going to play what it was taught to play.
Well, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Dave Grohl actually is from the Warren area where you're at now. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but there's a Dave Grohl alley where they have a really cool mural to Dave Grohl. So if you guys got time, you guys got to go by and check out. It's a pretty cool to look at.
I will if I can find it. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's been a lot of fun. The Foo Fighters did a show at a nearby record store, and it was kind of this iconic thing because nobody knew. They just showed up and they played a full Foo Fighters show to like 20 people in the store. It was crazy. It was kind of fun.
You know, Nirvana, I put this on there. Nirvana came to see us play when our record first came out. There were 3 original members, Dave, Chris, and Kirk. And I'll never forget it. We were just had started opening for Aerosmith, and it was in Seattle, and they came to the show, and came backstage, and they were so broke, they were carrying gallon jugs with beer in it. And acting a complete fool. And that's the night we knew this band was going to be huge. Because around the time our record hadn't really took off, the Lumberjack hadn't come, but Nirvana was becoming what Nirvana was going to be. And they were backstage. But, you know, when you watch MTV, you think, these dudes must be rich. The money hadn't got there yet. It was great. It was brilliant. We learned a lot about that.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. That's awesome. Man, I love this time with you. I could spend all day talking about rock history, but I know you guys got to get going. I was going to say, like, you know, you guys recorded with Brian Johnson of AC/DC and a bunch of other people like that. Is there one story? Again, I'm sure you could tell me all day about some fascinating stories. Is there one thing that kind of stuck out to you that you guys learned from and maybe talk to another star of the era?
Well, dude, I'll tell you this. Brian's a work of art. He's my favorite rock. He's my complete favorite rock star in all of history. He sings like Brian Johnson. He could be a comedian. He's so funny. He can sing like Frank Sinatra also, which most people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He can literally go from that growl to singing. But he had came with the song you're talking about. He's wrote a couple of songs for Jesse, but he came to when we were doing this album called Cut the Crap. And he was coming for like a day to help produce it and hang in there. Jesse, our singer, had met him at a charity, his wife's charity in Florida.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they started talking, just said, we're fixing to start a record. And one thing led another, and Jesse come in, and the day after they'd met and said, Brian Johnson's coming here. And we're like, yeah, right. Right. So, and no shit, we were playing something in the studio, getting ready to record, and there he was. He just showed up sitting behind my brother, the drummer, in a chair, and was like, "God, it is here." He was going to stay a day. He ended up staying, I think, over a week. He stayed with us in Jesse's house, and it was the most surreal, fun time ever. And then I'll give you a little story, and we'll top it off. Back to Taco Bell.
Okay, yes, please. That's awesome.
We actually we were recording one night, and then it was about 9 or 10 o'clock. We were going to get something to eat. He had never been to a Taco Bell. He had never heard of Taco Bell.
All right.
He's just not in that world. So we went down to it live. So we're taking Brian Johnson into Taco Bell in Atlanta. Taco Bell in Atlanta. And he didn't know what to get. And I was like, "Brian, well, what do you like?" "Yeah, meat, and I'll eat meat, cheese, me something." I was like, "Okay, well, it will start you easy." So I ordered him a meat and cheese burrito. Okay. And now, you know, when they roll it, they have that flap that flaps over the top, right? Mm-hmm. So we sit down, and he's looking at it, and he takes a bite out of it, and he just gets that first flap, and he chews it about 3 times, and he looks at us. Now, he has a wicked, dirty sense of humor, and I won't use the word he said, but he looked to us, and he looked, and in all sincerity went, "Drier than a nun's blank."
Yeah, okay, yes, I can imagine that.
And we erupted. He was like, y'all eat this crap, me son?" He's like, you got to keep chewing, Brian. You'll get to it. It's like a Tootsie Roll. You'll get to it. But he's a treasure, and over time, we were lucky. When our record came out, one of our first tours, we've been fired by Leonard Skinner 3 times, basically, because we just didn't mix, and it was always friendly. More than fired, they just didn't want to have us on the bill because we're too rowdy. But they were all great, going, "You guys are great. We just can't have it." Okay, so that's kind of like a badge of honor. And then our first real tour was with the damn Yankees, if you remember them, which was Ted Nugent, Tommy Shaw, Jack Blades, from Ted Nugent, and then Tommy Shaw from Styx and Jack Blades. They had a couple records in the 90s, these big hits. So we learned a lot from Ted. One of our first shows when we got our first tour bus, we came in a van. The van we blew up was with Kiss. And Gene and Paul. And Gene and Paul were really blown away that the fact that they knew about us from John Kalodner. So we had got a Kiss show. And we pulled in that piece of crap van where most bands would take what's called tour support in a day. You know, when you go see a band, even to this day, that's supported by a label, and they got all these fancy tour buses, you can guarantee they ain't going to make no money, or they might not be around again even if they got a hit, because all the hit money is going to what's called tour support, which they give you money to look big, but you're not that big yet, right? Okay, wow. So when we pulled into this piece of crap, Gene, being Gene, was like, "Hell yeah, that's how you do it. Y'all didn't take no tour support." No, John wouldn't let us, number one, because he wanted to come even. And we never did a merch deal like people do either. We do everything in-house. We never took any money from anybody. We looked at each other and decided this is about as poor as you're going to get, so we can't get no further lower. So we ain't taking no money. That was a big thing. And like Gene Simmons, Ted Nugent, John Kalodner, those older guys, we were real lucky to start out telling us, "Here's what not to do. You're gonna look like a fool a little for a minute if they don't look big. Earn your bigness, earn your tour bus, earn all that stuff, and then you're paying for it, and you ain't got to worry about somebody ripping you off. It's all in house." And we were real lucky for that. And we've told them millions of times, especially Kalodner, who signed us. John was instrumental. He just took us under our wing. I think he thought we were so stupid and country. Yeah. But we wasn't. We just had that accent, and and he learned real quick that we were smart. He learned real quick that we were quick learners, I guess is the thing to say. So we were real lucky with that. Yeah. So and thank God we're here today because of stuff like that. And we took heed to listening to the older guys that knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Jeff, man, thanks for your time.
Yeah,
Man,
brother. Me too. I loved it.
yeah, I wish you and I could have more time, but hey, we both got to go home for a day. But let me promote your show. Again, Jackyl. They've been around since the '90s. They're going to be at Robin Theater in Warren tonight. We'll have a link on our interview to buy tickets if you haven't bought already. Again, we know the concert's tonight. We know you may have other plans. If you do, again, Marion Popcorn Festival. It's about hour and a half away from Youngstown, but well worth the drive if you want to check out Jackyl. You can check them out tomorrow night too. Jeff, again, thanks so much for your time. Hang on for a minute afterwards, and thanks to everyone else for checking out Holy Matters. Have a great day.
Yeah, man. Thanks, brother.